they come on disappointed.
A bit sulky.
But because he's obviously, we spoke about his strengths as a manager, he's keeping everyone on side. When they're coming on, they're having any impact.
Absolutely, and he trusts them, doesn't there? There's a point, Ange, where as a manager you have to trust your players. You go, you go do it. You know what you're doing.
100%, and that's what I meant by putting him on and not really dictating a structure to them. You know, it's just getting those attacking players on the pitch and waiting for them to find their moment, and that's what they did.
And now his adopted country is one step closer to what they all want, which is a World Cup final. Of course, there's a long, long way to go before that. And when we have a look at the progressive draw, as it were, Brazil top right there, you can see they're in the same quarter as England. There's a long, long way before that might happen. So
one game at a time.
Don't worry about that
Just relax.
today.
One game at a time, Mark. Let's relax.
That's a story a long way down the line. Let's have a look at the goal. Let's have a look at the way it's Ryan, actually, the Bournemouth winger, who didn't have a particularly impactful match, but he kept going and he wins the ball back just at the right
That's a great sign when you want your attackers, if they're not having a great day in terms of a possession, make sure you hunt people down and win the ball back, which they did. And particularly so late in the game, that desire to try and win a game of football when you're thinking we'll settle for a draw. And again, we're looking at Martinelli, of course, just
and it's
hanging around
Tanaka who gives it away.
Yeah, of course, but that's the pressure they're under. But it's the final pass. Yeah, we criticise the fullback for maybe gambling, but the composure with the pass where you're thinking he's obviously going to have a shot here, and it's so late in the game, that composure, that intelligence, and the execution of the pass. Brilliant first touch from Martinelli that sets it up. And we've seen Martinelli. We listen to plenty of critics out there of Martinelli not doing enough consistently, but from that moment, that first touch. Big moment for him, big moment for Brazil, and you can see the reaction. I loved that. I thought Brazil, outstanding. Absolutely loved watching it in the second half. Real desire to go and win a game of football.
I think the referee's view, Patrick, just shows how congested it is in. I think that's a really good view for everybody at home to really appreciate how little space there is in there.
Yeah, it was quite really compact. You had around 19 players just around the box. But what is quite really interesting on that side is Brazil in the possession. They lost the ball, but they stayed there and tried to win it straight away. So the fact that they win the ball straight away didn't give Japan the time to reorganize themselves. And then in a really tight space, they make the right decision. There was a quality of the pass, and it was a really good finish.
And what about that? It's decision-making, it's control.
It is, but, you know, if you're going to defend that deep, as Japan did, Sugiwara, the right back there, has got to tuck in. You know, it's one thing sitting deep, but you give good players this much space. Look, it's a great first touch, great pass, but when you have so many players in the box, you can't be giving opposition players that much space.
Well, it needs to be almost man-to-man in there, doesn't it?
It has to be, because the right back, Sugiwara's got no one to pick up there. The space is inside. That's where the danger is. And that was the problem for Japan. They not just they sat deep, but they still give opportunities, no pressure on the ball for them to be able to compete in there.
And we've seen it so many times over the years where teams have a lot of numbers back, but sometimes you have too many numbers. Everyone else thinks somebody else is going to do the job, and they end up with 3 or 4 spare players instead of just actually getting tight in somebody, go man-to-man, because there's plenty of bodies there, but everyone is thinking somebody else is going to do that job.
It's going to be something for Carlo Ancelotti to think about in the next round. It's going to be Norway or Cote d'Ivoire, because Casemiro limped off and Paquetá limped off. That's 2 of his midfield 3.
Yeah, and, losing 2 central midfielders like that is not going to be easy for them. We just have to wait to see how bad it is. But we saw players coming on in the second half, and they have the experience. But losing 2 players, you never know how long and it will take for them to recover.
Yeah, but obviously we'll find out in the next few days how serious it is. Obviously these players are getting a bit older, maybe sometimes just a bit of cramp or tightness, so hopefully from their point of view, it's not too serious.
But you say opportunity, of course, is what you've got to grasp. I love the way that when a massive goal goes in, he's like, yeah, and 5, that's what happens, Ange. Just the way he stays calm, even when it's going his way, it's remarkable.
Yeah, but I think he also understands that, you know, in the chaos of everything that's happening, the game is still going on. Yes. You know, there's still things that need to be decided. And, I think, look, it's heartbreaking for Japan. I know exactly how they'd be feeling, because as a nation, they just feel like they need to break through this barrier, and now they have to wait another 4 years to do that. And that's the World Cup. You know, they're the moments. And the great teams find a way to win. And that's what Japan need to get to.
And with the Japanese, because they will know full well that if us, the Japanese equivalent sitting here are going, done it against Belgium, you've done it against Croatia, now you've done it again against Brazil. When are you going to learn? How are you going to make that step?
Well, it was like Arsenal finished second for a
Yeah.
number of years.
Yeah.
Football, top level football is brutal. That's why when the teams keep winning, we have to give them credit. So Japan, again, have made fantastic progress. Their supporters have been magnificent, and their players gave it their all today. I think the previous times where they've been knocked out, where they got themselves in great positions, you could be a bit more critical. And obviously, we'll analyse. Ange's mentioned their defenders making wrong decisions, but that's pressure. That comes from pressure, decision making in key moments where the top teams just have that bit of composure. And again, this top-level sport is brutal. They'll have to learn. And 4 years, in another 4 years' time, hopefully they're a little bit wiser.
Absolutely, that is the case. Okay.
How about the scene in Rio de Janeiro?
Whoa.
What is that guy wearing? Is he a tree?
Tree and some balls.
What is happening? That is a look. So Brazil, your second confirmed team here in the round of 16. Remember, Canada able to advance with a late goal yesterday. Next up for the Brazilians will be either the Ivory Coast or Norway. That one July 5th at New York, New Jersey Stadium. Rob Stone, Mikel John Obi, Clint Dempsey, Peter Schmeichel in studio with you today. Vinny Jr. said recently, quote, "The sixth star is taking too long to arrive." The five-time World Cup champs are now just 4 wins away from getting that 6th World Cup star on their jersey. Pick up this one in the 29th minute, and look at this. It's Japan on top.
Yeah, miss pass here from Danilo here, and Kaisu Sano picked up the ball, drive past Casemiro, who knew that he was on a yellow card, couldn't foul him, couldn't touch him, but very easy here for him to run past Casemiro. Didn't need any power, just the placement for me. Absolutely no chance for Alisson to save that. That's it. Japan went 1-0 up.
Brazil really cooled off Japan in the second half. The Japanese just one shot in the final 45.
Yeah, but still, this time in the game, everything is going Japan's way. Brazil was really putting a lot of pressure on Suzuki's goal, but he stood up to it. He was brilliant. And if you want to see how it goes, Japan's way, just have a look at this. Casemiro, we're thinking, oh, it's going to be a bad day for him. And again, saved on the line. And again, you see this here, blocked on the line, then the goalkeeper, then back on the line, and then a clearance.
A Tela two-has for Brazil, a Tela two-has for Casemiro. Great ball in from Gabriel. And this man, Casemiro, with a big goal, gets him back in the game.
What is Gabriel doing with that cross?
I mean,
What's he doing there in the first place?
the offsides technology, he was on sides, timed the run perfectly, and what a finish. Brazil's back dancing again.
And I think Suzuki he had a fantastic game today. You think Brazil is all about Vinny Jr.? It is at times. This is a fantastic little run. But what a great save he's producing here again. And this time he hit the post, and it went out.
You talk about the decisions of Ancelotti, getting Martinelli on the pitch. And before the game, we talked about players who could open the game up. Bruno with another assist. Great pass to Martinelli. Keeper almost makes the save again. How does he find that much space to be open in the box? Doesn't matter. What a goal. Brazil up 2-1.
Yeah, what a goal, what a pass from Bruno Guimaraes. Absolutely superb.
Tired legs, tired minds.
Yeah. If you look at the number 2 there, the defender, I don't know, the man on the wide is not important. Close the middle of the goal. He didn't do that, but absolutely superb goal.
So the Brazilian engine is still roaring.
Tokyo drift action.
Right. Clint, is that how you drive a car?
That's how my daughter drives a car. Oh, sorry, Lise.
Or those insurance premiums?
Oh, I've been dropped a few times.
Man, they show up every month. I'm like, is this my quarterly bill? They're like, no, sir, this is every month. All right, Tobin Heath. Does this game have a late goal in it? Yes, Tobin. Yes, it does. There's the reply. Gabriel, not the last word. Fox Match Conversations is sponsored by Threads. Threads has certainly been a popular destination for discussion about this summer's World Cup. Brazil's thrilling win over Japan, certainly a big topic of conversation. We're going to continue to converse about it as well. What does a win in this fashion do for Brazil going forward?
I won't recommend playing for it, but it's the greatest way to win a game, isn't it? They deserved him, and they had so much. They had 69% of the ball, and they were really playing well. Japan was defending well, and it's difficult. It's always difficult to break that kind of thing. But again, they find that little space. You called Bruno Guimaraes, he would find that pass. You called that before the game, and he did find that pass. And it only takes 1 minute or 1 moment of a game, tired minds, tired legs out there, to do that. And it's a brilliant thing to win it like that. I said before the game, the 2 games I've been at with Brazil this tournament, it's always looked like they had another gear. And today they have to go into that other gear. I thought they did that today. And to win like that, it's going to give you so much confidence.
Yeah, you go ahead.
No, I think one thing that we can take away from it is obviously the big calls that Carlo Ancelotti made today. We were all saying, yeah, what do we know, Rob? We know nothing about football. Carlo Ancelotti, we called for Casemiro to be taken off. But he's like, nope, I'm going to leave him on the pitch. What did he do? He came up with the equalizer. And, of course, bringing in Martinelli as well. Those big calls, that's why you hire a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, a manager who's been there, done it, knows how to win titles. And we've said it before the game. Is he going to be the guy that will bring this Brazilian side back to the glory days? You can see here again, this goal here, this first goal here. Absolutely brilliant goal. We know Casemiro couldn't touch him because he was on a yellow card. And what's this man doing here? Gabriel with the perfect cross and a perfect header from Casemiro.
I mean, the positive you take away from this game is the character Brazil showed to get back into this game, the confidence that Martinelli has now from getting that game winner, the confidence this team has from winning a knockout stage when they were losing, and now they go on to the round of 16. Neymar gets rested a little bit more, but then the worrying thing is Paqueta, how he's dealing with that, or Paqueta, how he's dealing with that injury that he has, and Casemiro came off. He was feeling something, and they were already kind of weak in that midfield. It's going to be interesting if the 6 days will be enough to get them back on the field so they can be firing on all cylinders.
8th come-from-behind win at this World Cup, the Samba Kings. Still dancing. They move on to the round of 16. Superior player of the match, sponsored by Michelob Ultra. Casemiro rebounded from that rough first half, got the equalizer, became the 2nd oldest Brazilian to score at a World Cup, behind only Bebeto in '98. A reminder, there's a lot of indications out there that man, the 34-year-old Casemiro, headed to Inter Miami after this World Cup.
Look at the goal, because we talked about the Brazilian midfield being a potential weakness, and that's effectively what's happened.
It's been a huge worry throughout the competition. In the first game I saw them against Morocco, and it's cost them. Obviously, they made a mistake earlier in the game where the midfielders getting out of position, and Casemiro's already in the yellow card, and it certainly affects his decision making in terms of closing the goal scorer down. So obviously we see they give the ball away cheaply, but there's still a long way to go. This is the bit frustrating for me. You see Casemiro there, where his first movement is to come out. He's got to be backtracking, protecting the goal. He's got to be slowing the player down, because he's not quite. Even here, you stop here, and he's an experienced player, but it's no good having all that experience if you're not going to use it. Credit to attacking midfielder Sano, very, very good. But Casemiro's almost guided him to go past him. His first movement has got to be backtracking to slow him up and protect the middle of the goals. Well deserved, very good strike, but from Brazil's midfield point of view, nowhere near good enough. I'd be surprised if he comes out for the second half.
Yeah, but the other options is that if you're in that situation, what you can do is just to make a foul.
He's on a yellow, though, isn't he?
He's already on the yellow card. Yeah. So that was quite a really difficult decision for him to make. But in this situation, as a holding midfielder, what you really want is to delay it, to close the space, especially centrally. So if you delay it and you give time for your teammates to come and to close those space, and that was a wrong decision for Casemiro to commit himself too early.
He had to stay goal side. Just keep backtracking, slow him down, and get help around you, get numbers around you.
It slightly sums it up, Ange, doesn't it? That Japan are full of energy, they're full of intensity, and in many areas they just look half a yard quicker, don't they, than some of the Brazilian players?
Absolutely, and then we spoke about it at the drinks break in the first quarter. So that was an issue for them, not just with Casemiro, but Paqueta and Guimaraes are very similar players as well. As Roy rightly says, none of them are real ball winners, and that's the advantage that Japan have. When they can play through the midfield, they've got the legs to go past people into space, and you saw that perfectly with the goal. And this is the bit that is going to be crucial now. Don't sit back. Japan have been in this position before. 2018 against Belgium, 2-0 up. Croatia, 2022, 1-0 up. If they press at the right times like this, they will make it very, very difficult for Brazil. You can't do it for 45 minutes at that tempo, but look, I coach Maeda. I've said it before. This guy is absolutely world class at this. And it may seem like a small thing, but his pressing ability, his ability, just watch him close down space here. He takes a touch. Before you know it, bang, he's on the ball. If they can keep that sort of intensity up at different moments, regulate it, they're going to make it awfully hard for Brazil.
And Andrew, they look like they enjoy pressing.
They do.
It doesn't look like a chore to them. And obviously they've got something to hold on to now, but the danger for Japan, and do not get comfortable.
Yeah.
A couple of times there towards the end, they give the ball away sloppily, like lack of concentration. Do not get comfortable. That's a dangerous place to be.
Kel, give us that samba dance.
Oh, yeah, Rob. Get in the mood. Samba dance. Hey, let's see that.
All right, man. Hey, man. I don't got it like that. I'm going to stick to... I'm going to stay in my lane. Like my boy TT say, I'm going to stay in my lane.
That's right. Brazil, they have scored 244 World Cup goals. That is most in tournament history. Wow. And when you think World Cup, you think...
That's exactly it. You think World Cup. The first thing you think about is Brazil. And we get reminded when we're watching the games, they're all there watching the Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos, Cafu, all these great players who has entertained us over the years in the World Cups. And you kind of sort of relate it to the team they have now. I mean, they've got great players. Vinny's stepping up.
Oh, look at this man here.
Ronaldinho. Slowly. It's Ronaldinho there. Slowly becoming a superstar on this stage. He's already a superstar in Real Madrid. And then this fella here, Neymar, who I was at the Scotland game they played, and he obviously has not played before then. And when he stood up to warm up, I mean, that game, if you remember right, it got killed after 7 minutes when Brazil were 1-0 up, and the atmosphere was kind of flat. And then you have to sort of go into the second half. When he stood up to warm up, they went berserk. The crowd went berserk. And when he took his shirt off to come on and put the yellow shirt on, that was a moment in the World Cup for me. They love him.
Yeah, it was the right time to bring him on, isn't it? 3-0, the game is done. Listen, Neymar has been absolutely superb for this Brazilian team over the years. When you talk about the World Cup, 5 times champions, one of the teams that have done it back-to-back alongside Italy. Great team. They look like they're coming into their stride now in this tournament. They start the tournament well, obviously, with that draw against Morocco, but although they did play against a very good Moroccan side, there's a lot of questions and answers, isn't it, with this Brazilian side? You never know. Are they now ready in terms of, trying to dominate again the world stage, or is Carlo Ancelotti the man that was going to bring them back to those glory days? So a lot of questions than answers for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's great when you see players like Ronaldinho, legends of the game, R9, you know what I'm saying, Rivaldo. When you see these people come around the team, I think it inspires you because it reminds you of a kid watching them play in the World Cups. And you talked about Neymar, right? And he's been injured and he's coming back, and it's good to see him, but he gives a lift no matter what. And I think when you start getting in late into the game, there is that moment of something special that he can do, even though that he's not at his best. So it's great to see it, and I think I always look at Brazil a little bit with rose-colored glasses because I remember my first World Cup watching them play in '94, Romario and Bebeto. Yeah. But if anybody can get the best out of this Brazilian side, I think it's Carlos Ancelotti, and he gets the best out of Vini Jr. And what you see with Cunha, and also Bruno in the midfield providing service. I think they've gotten stronger as the tournament went on, but it's going to be a difficult game today versus Japan.
Yeah, and that celebration with Bebeto. Come on, Rob.
Oh, you like the little baby celebration?
Yeah, that one.
Hey, don't pull your hamstring, bro.
Sponsored by Adidas, Vinny Jr. said, quote, "This is a generation that fights very hard to bring Brazil back to the top. That 6th star is taking too long to arrive. He has done his part so far to get that 6th star.
Man, has he done his part. He scored in every group stage match. He has 4 goals already. He's got some good dancing partners around him in Cunha, who already has 3 goals. You have the service that you're seeing from Bruno as well. He's running at players. He's full of confidence. He's back with Ancelotti when he was at his best at Real Madrid, and you're seeing him shine in this World Cup. And if they want to beat Japan today, he's going to need to be at his best, and I think he'll get the job done.
Yeah, he's playing really well. He's happy. He looks fit. He looks happy. For me, I'm going to go with this guy on the screen, Daichi Kamada, 29-year-old. Plays his football for Crystal Palace. Been absolutely superb for this Japanese side. He's the guy in that midfield pulling all the strings, the enforcer, the guy who dictates the game. He's created 4 chances so far in this tournament, and he's got 2 goals. He has to play well today if they need to get anything out of this game today. But I think he will do well today?
I think we already established that this is a difficult game for Brazil, that everybody wants them to go through, but they need to keep this man, Dyson Maeda, quiet. He's a very energetic striker. He's someone who's got the capability to press for 90 minutes. He never rests. He's one of them really annoying strikers that you don't know where he is, and all of a sudden he comes in with that enormous speed that he's got. Plus, he gets a chance, he puts him away.